Welcome back, everybody. Today what I want to do is I want to take you through a little tutorial that I've already showed twice now on the live stream. Basically, we do a live show Wednesdays, Sundays, and occasionally on other days. And I wanted to share with you some tips for making music with Udio. And then in the second part, we're also going to be showing how to do mastering using Izotope Ozone elements. If you don't want to miss my next video, hit that subscribe button, because YouTube ain't going to tell you, because that's the cheap one. And I'm not trying to, I'm not trying to be funny, but you could probably spend your life learning to master audio. So I'm not going to even pretend like, oh, this is the best way or anything like that. It's just a way, and it will transform your song from being a basic AI music generation into being something which can compete with other music which is being made. Because you've got to have you've got to have standards. And so what I want to do is I want to take you through a process, which is one that I've been teaching on the live show, and I've used to make a whole bunch of music now. And then we're also going to take a look at how you can do the mastering as well. Now, if I've got time, I'll do them both in the same video. So we are going to go for it. So first of all, you're going to want to go over to Udio. It's a great platform. I'm not going to waste your time on the details. All you need to know is you put in some genre tags, okay? And then roll the dice. Now, the interesting thing about using it in this mode is you can actually explore with the seed. So I will show you that. It's right here. You can put a seed in and you can sort of work around the same area if that's what you want to do. But I would recommend while you're learning just to go with -1. I use Ultra because even though it says slower, it's not slow. It's very fast. I'm going to use the settings that you're seeing here. I don't touch clarity because I think it starts to sound a bit strange if you mess with that. I'm going to be showing you how to make instrumentals. Okay, so obviously we're not going to need to worry about lyric timing, but you can do that. You can type them in yourself or you can auto-generate them. It's a lot of fun to mess around with that, but it's just another factor to have to manage. So when you're learning, it's easier to learn how to make instrumentals. You're going to want to put it on, like I said, what I do is I generate a bunch of them and then I'll put them into a document. So they'll look something like that. And then once I've got a whole bunch of them that I like, I will then load up that by URL and I will click extend. And this is the point where we're jumping into. So you've already generated a whole bunch of songs. You've already sort of earmarked a bunch of them. And we're going to be showing you how to do the extend. Because obviously, if you're going to be using their model 1.5, it actually creates a 2 minutes and 11 seconds out the gate. So what you want to be doing, this is what I'm recommending anyway. So you can do style reduction, which is a negative prompt, but I'm not going to mess with that in this tutorial because it's just more layers of complication. All of those things you can experiment with on your own time. So first things first is the prompt strength. I put that to 60. Second, I get the lyrics strength and put that down to like 10 or 15. All right, because what I really want to do is use manual mode. So it's not going to mess with my prompt. And I'm going to take a bunch of genres which I like and I'm going to put them together. So for this, we're going to be working on a hard style type, okay? So it's dance, electronic, fast Euro dance, and Chicago. This is a little clip, sort of text, natural language trick, which I do a lot, which, misspelling things can often lead to good, consistent results. They're a little bit more interesting. So it's not going to be Chicago, it's going to be Chicago. And that's something which is worked out by the vectors. So again, I don't want to spend too long, but essentially this is my prompt, all right? And I already worked out this is going to be a good tune to work on. So we're going to be using the crop and extend feature, because what I want to do is I want to make sure that the intro is good and I want to set a good point to cut off to extend from. Obviously, I don't want it to like end the song. I want it to continue, right? And so I'm quite happy with this already. And we'll listen to it in just a second. But the most important thing you have to pay attention to at this point is if you're doing an intro, which would come at the start, it's going to say 0% here, right? So that means it's going to make the intro before what you've already got. And so, for example, So I might want to get rid of the two oohs and go from there if I want to make a new intro. There's an example for you, okay? And at that point, 0. Now, if I wanted to just make more song before here, I might drag it back to like 20%. And I might say, oh, I want to actually make a new start here. So I'd say add section before, and I'd use 20%, all right? I'm not going to do that because I'm happy with this intro, and I can always do it later. There's nothing to stop you doing the before stuff last. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the add section after, which is a little bit more interesting. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the end. I'm just going to see that I'm happy with the progression of the song there. And it hasn't lost the plot. But you can see it just stops there, right? So I might just drag it back to 204. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to say 40% is going to be fine, and we're going to go extend. It's going to give me two choices, and those two choices are going to be, one is going to be a little bit more creative, the other one will be a little bit more consistent. Now, what we're going to do is we're going to have to actually listen to this song. I'm going to have to listen to the last 30 seconds, which is what add section does. It puts another 30 seconds at the end of it, all right? So that's what we have to do. When this is finished generating, I'm going to listen to both of them, listen to the ends, and judge which one I like best. If I don't like either, I'll generate another two. If I do like them, I will click extend on the one which I see as the winner, or the one I wish to continue. Now, at that point, you've got a few choices, because it will be about 2 minutes and 35 seconds long. So if you think that your track is going to be about 5 minutes long, you're probably going to want to do the next one, extend from 50. Okay, so it depends, how long does your track need to be? If you think the track's only going to last 4 minutes, you probably could push that up to like 60. But there are other things you can do. For example, we were down at 40%, right? So I could decide to increment to 45, then to 50, then to... There's lots of different strategies, and what it'll do is it'll pull out different parts of the track. So let's take a listen to the end of this one. So here's where it starts extending. And we don't have time to listen to it all in the tutorial. Okay, so that ended with some screaming. But this is actually tuned. So I'm going to go with the version 2. Like that. Now I can put crop extend on and just preview it again. Let's go for the whole thing. I want to hear the end. That's pretty tasty. So what we're going to do is we're going to go with this. And as I say, I don't want this to be especially long, so I'm just going to go for... I want to hold it where it is, though. I don't want to move past this part of the progression, so I'm going to keep it there at 55%. Now, an interesting thing to point out here is you can use string painting with this. So A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. If I was to now regenerate this one again, even if I had the same seed, we've got it on random seed right now, but if I was to put in something memorable, like the current Bitcoin price, what we could do is we could say 104,000, and then what I could do is I could say add section after 55. Now I've got a string paint of A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm now going to do another generation. I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D. Now this is just a 32-bit hex code, and we've used this in image generation. We've used this in video generation. Just about any model that actually gives you direct access to prompt the model, this will work with. So what we do is we fix the seed, and then we put 8 characters in hex. So that is 0 to 8 and A through F, okay? And what's going to happen is we're going to end up with tracks that sound the same, almost imperceivably so, but in fact they will be very different, okay? Now obviously these first two were done with a random seed, so they won't actually work the same way, but I'll show you. As you can see, this is completely different. No string painting here, right? This is the normal behavior. So if you hear some instrument you don't like, or if you hear something you like, that's pretty much how you determine which one you're going to keep, okay? We'll go back to this one again. I like the version 2. I think the version, wait, is this version 2? Yeah, I like the version 2 right now. So it does look like, I'm going to put this on repeat one so it doesn't keep moving to the next track. When you're listening to the end of the track a lot, you want it to be able to just loop so you know you're not going to be picking the wrong one. So there we go. Right, now let's listen to the string painted ones, okay? So remember, these two were A, B, C, D, 1, 2, 3, and these two were 1, 2, 3, 4, A, B, C, D, okay? So I flipped the hex code around, which should give a decent contrast, but believe me, it should be subtle. Got to go to the end. You can hear different instruments coming in there. You see how it's different, even though it's got the same seed? This one's pretty strong. What happened? It's gone all trance on me. That's crazy. Let's listen to all of them real quick. And the thing is, sometimes it can be almost imperceivable how different it is. And at that point, we've done a bit of a difference analysis and found out that they are completely different, even when they sound the same. So this definitely 100% works, so it was worth mentioning. So I don't know, that one's pretty good, you know. What about this last one? And this one goes into the trance too. That's crazy. But I'm not going to use that one. I'm actually going to use this. I just wanted to show you what you can do with string painting when you're doing audio generation. So it's the second one that I was going to go with. So again, I want to go up. I want to stay in this sort of area that it's in. So I'm going to generate 55 and then 60. So slow progression, even though I am going to end the track. Now, you can go to 70 or 80 and generate an extension section, or you can just go straight to the end, which would be outro, which will be 90%. So that should end the song for you. You can always extend it from the front, so you don't have to worry too much. Let's go to the end. Okay, now, like I said, once you've done the extension and you're happy with the song, what you can do is you can move on. So what we're going to do now is we're going to jump over to doing some mastering in FL Studio. I'm going to be approaching this as though you have the free version of FL Studio and you've picked up the cheapest possible plugins for mastering that you can get your hands on. That would be, well, okay, there's lots of different alternatives, all right? I'm not going to pretend like I'm an expert when it comes to this. All I'm going to say is that I've used it with good results, and a lot of the online mastering stuff that you get offered for like $7.99 or £80 a year or whatever it is, lots of platforms offer mastering services now. This is going to be better than that. And like I said, you pay for it once, it's probably $40. The rest are free plugins, okay? And like I said, you can't really beat that on value, and it will transform the sound of the tune. So let's jump over to FL Studio now and continue. And we're back in FL Studio. Now, this one is a licensed copy, but you can use this with the free version. You just can't save projects. That's pretty much the main disadvantage. Now, once you get your plugins, you want to have to go to options, manage plugins, and then you're going to want to do a find installed plugins because they come with an installer. And then you're going to want to go down. And now, like I said, we're going to be looking at the Izotope plugins. Now, most of these are actually free. Some of them are paid, like I use Vinyl, which I think I paid for a long time ago. And I think I did pay for Ozone Elements because I wanted to test it. Now, a lot of people say it's a waste of time to buy Ozone Elements. But the thing is, if you don't have anything and you want a cheap tool, this is actually giving you a lot of value, actually. Because if you're not like a professional and you're just using this casually, like you've just generated a bunch of AI music and you fancy making it sound more betterer, then, you know, Neutron, Nectar, a lot of this stuff was free, came with their starter pack. But for $40, which is how much I paid for Elements, that's actually a good deal. I mean, the next tier up is $300. You might not think it's worth spending that kind of money. And so at that point, you know, fair enough, right? And you can spend thousands on plugins, okay? So I'm not about to start taking you down a path. All I'm going to say is that I tested this out and it works great. So obviously you hit the star to make sure it's actually going to be easy for you to find it. And I'm going to be looking at this like you've already got your AI track. So here's the track that we just made. I'm going to drop it straight in there. We're on song mode, okay? I'm trying to make this easy for people that have never used FL Studio, okay? Because it is quite overwhelming if you've never used it before. But all you need to know is, there's my track. It's in track 1. You know, you can click and drag it, all right? And you can move that. So I've literally dragged it in, and then I've moved it to 0, so that when it starts, we get the track. Now, there's a couple of things which I've done here which you can't see. Let me just get this. Oh, my goodness. Hang on a sec, guys. I thought I had this so I could be seen. Let me just move this along a bit. I forgot to do that part. There we go. We're back. So, essentially what I'm going to do is cheap. I'm going to go for master. I've selected master. And then I've loaded in a whole bunch of these. You just click on the arrow, you go select, and then you pick the plugin that you want. Now I've got declick, which is used without any changes. I got declip, which is used without any changes. And I've got dehum. Now it's got a learning algorithm, or a learning mode, you might say. So what we're going to do is we're going to listen to the track with it on learn. Time just to learn. We're going to do this with the EQ and the mastering plugin, okay? We might even just start it off with the section. Or even later. Yeah, there, that's a good place. Okay. So all I did was click in the number area, right? So I'm happy. For the dehum plugin, okay? So now it's going to get a bit glitchy because this is going to use a lot of its CPU intensive. But when I hit spacebar, it's going to play from where I had the track head. And now what we're going to do is we're going to hit relearn on Neutron Elements, which is the EQ, okay? So this is EQ AI, if you will. Same dynamics, much richer sound. Back on. We're not done. The second part to this is actually to do the ozone, which is this is the main meat of the meal. The rest was all vegetables, but it's always good to have the rest. So I'm going to hit relearn. And this one's going to glitch out a little bit. See my mouse right now when you start to see it messing up? That's the CPU spike. Okay. Now, of course, you're free to mess around with all of this if you want. Sometimes something I do is whack it out as tube, just because I prefer tube or tape. Okay? But it's completely up so maybe let's do another one. Relearn it on a different section. You can adjust everything manually as well. Give it a second. Okay. So now we've got our track. We just hit bypass. I'll go down here. You can see these lights. That's what it sounded like originally. Alright, let's put it back to this interesting section here. The mastering and the EQ back on. And as you can hear, it sounds way better. Definitely worth the price of entry. Now, obviously, I've got a bunch of other stuff here that might be a little bit harder to tell you what I'm doing. And it's up to you whether you use them or what settings you use them on. I like them, but that's just so now we've got our track, we've just generated it, we've extended it, we put an intro and an outro on there, we've come in here and we've used very, very simple, this is my lazy master project. All we've done is we've put declick, dehum, declip. I'm using the vinyl plugin, which I didn't show you, so there's that. But that's optional. It's up to you whether you use that. You can have as many plugins as you want, to be honest, okay? I have disabled Fruity Limiter because I think that I've got it covered with all the other plugins right now. And we're done. So pretty much all we have to do is go to export wave file, and you're going to want to give it a name. So I'm going to go into clubbing seals, and I'm going to call this one O2 Pulsations. Okay. And then just make sure you've got 64-point sync selected. Check that you're okay with the rest. It's going to cut the remainder of silence, so you don't need to put an end mark in or anything like that. And then just hit start, and that's it. It's going to create the thing. You leave this on, and it'll open the folder to show you where it's been saved, just in case you're not really sure where that is. But I'm sure that you will become familiar with that as you come to use this more. What I wanted to do with this was show you a really simple, just drop your AI music in and then use some FL plugins to do your mastering. And I'm very happy to say that if I compare this with some of the online mastering services, it's on par or better. So every time it's been the same or better in terms of, you know, listening to it with some nice headphones. And you can really hear the difference as well. It's like night and day. So it's definitely something that you're going to want to do if you're going to start using AI for music production more. It's going to make it sound way more dynamic, way more rich. I would say this is like MSG for AI music. Obviously, it's never going to beat you making the track yourself, okay? But if you want to just quickly generate some music, this is definitely the move. So there it is. There's the tutorial. Like I said, once you've got this, you can upload it to wherever you want to, or use it in whatever video you want to, which is usually the goal. So that's everything I've got for you. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.